Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. I am so excited to start this webinar today. I see people from Australia, Tasmania, wow, Argentina, Jamaica, Morocco, South Africa. I am so excited that we managed to gather people from all over the globe, literally, with this presentation. So let's get me started. And for those who see me the first time, my name is Aina Alive. I am AI-Augmented Strategist, organizational coach with 20 years of experience leading and catalyzing transformations all over the world. And now I want to share my slides, the presentation. I've been traveling around the globe. So just virtually returned from Australia and New Zealand. So for those who weren't able to meet me in person here in Canada or virtually in Australia and New Zealand, I am repeating this presentation virtually. So let's just get it started. And on the front slide, you see my name, Aina Alive, and Orin AI. So I will explain who Orin is and why he's on the slide a little bit later. But now let's move on to the agenda. So I've divided agenda into three main parts, which are leveraging artificial intelligence to detect early warning signs and mitigate delays. And here we will explore why the subject matters now. So what it means to get from reactive organizations to a predictive one. What artificial intelligence detects that us humans miss, unfortunately. I will share the real case study on the high level of 500 million infrastructure program, and getting started with AI delay detection. Then we will move on to how build trust in algorithmic recommendations for high stakes decisions. So what is really happening, why people are challenged to use AI right now, the recent trust gap, working with a non-human intelligence. How does it feel? Materials to study prompt engineering, also examples of prompts, and touch a little bit vibe coding and how it can potentially resurrect Agile. And then we will move on to the third part of this presentation, creating a roadmap to scale AI adoption in your project ecosystem. So many leaders, unfortunately, are still resistant to adopt AI. So we will talk about from pilot to platform, the hidden cost of AI fragmentation, the maturity spectrum, also success factors for scalable AI, components of scalable AI roadmap. Also, I will share the 90-day playbook and executive communication tactics. Because when I returned from the PMI lecture chapter here in Ontario, one of the questions was how to convince our executive to use AI because they still feel like it's a fade or it's something what they can avoid using. So we, as AI strategists and enthusiasts, we really need to prepare the pitch on how to collaborate with our executives. So let's get started. And I want to open this presentation with a quote, AI won't make you dumb, but your laziness will. Why? Because again, during my tour, a few people already mentioned me that either they afraid using AI because they feel like it will make them dumb, or again, their peers, their colleagues, or even the executives shared with them that they don't use AI because they feel like they're dummy if they cannot do it on their own or having any other reasons. So what I would reply to that, AI definitely doesn't make you lazy, but bad prompts, this is what makes you lazy. So let's explore the difference. If I just ask my AI to write me a blog post, or to write me a user story or ethic, or create an OKR, this definitely makes me lazy. Versus if I ask it to help me explore this idea from 3 different angles, or ask it to brainstorm my OKR objective key results, or ask it to summarize pros and cons of this product or project, and help me to create an MVP, minimum viable product. So do you see the difference? One is outsources thinking. So I just delegated everything to AI, and now I can relax and watch TV. And the other prompt, it enhances it. And it's not just a tool when we are talking about AI, it's a structural shift. So you see the picture of 4 social revolutions here on the slide. So you know that many years ago, it was an agricultural revolution when people switched from hunting to planting seeds and started living in communes. Then many years later, I don't remember exactly, 1860s probably, it started the industrial revolution, where people started moving to the cities and working on factories and having 9 to 5 shifts eventually. After that, about 100-ish years later, we got the information revolution, probably in 1970s. And now we are in 2025, and we are already in the virtual revolution. So you see how closer the gaps are between one revolution to another. First, it took centuries, then it took about 100 years, and now it's been less than 50 years, and we are already in, I wouldn't say in the middle, but at least at the beginning of a new revolution. So if you are 50 plus years old, you are already experiencing the second revolution just in one life. So I want to emphasize that AI isn't just a new tool like many prefer thinking, it's a structural shift. So I want to remind that when electricity came, it wasn't also just a tool. It didn't simplify eliminate candles, it reshaped how our time was structured. So we started being able to have a nightlife, we started having shifts. Doctors actually started being able to help their patients during nighttime, and many other shifts had happened when electricity came to our life. When computers were created, they didn't just speed up our typing, they reframed memory, logic, storage, delegation, and many other things. And the internet also didn't just make information accessible. It exploded authority, rewrote access, changed the rhythm of research, altered how we build, and collapsed consensus. So with the internet, we didn't just have the library with 24/7 access to the digital information. Our life actually has shifted, and with artificial intelligence, we don't know yet how it's going to be shifted, but it's important to be ahead of the curve, so to witness yourself on the shift. But what's more important, not just to witness, but to be able to frame, to monitor, and also to pivot this shift in the way we want, rather than just wait the shift and then deal with the results. So that's why I'm doing this global world tour teaching and educating people on AI tools, and not just teaching prompts and telling how to use, but why to use the artificial intelligence. Because there is a quote which been used so often that become trivial, and I always cringe when I hear it again. AI won't replace you, someone using AI will. What I would invite you to do is to go deeper in this phrase, and probably replace it with AI won't replace people who think, it will replace those who stopped asking why. Because this is where like real critical thinking is. And not knowledge, no confidence, but the instinct to question assumptions, to search for meaning, to hold tension instead of rushing to resolution. And I prepared few tools as an example. So when we started using calculators didn't make us a dummy. It just enhanced our ability to count numbers. QuickBooks also helped us to deal with accounting better. Laptop also didn't make us to forgot how to write, but AI definitely won't make us lazy or dummy, but it's not just a tool. It's something which eventually will have intelligent. So it's going to be something with, I would even dare say, conscious, and something which we want to delegate some things like artificial agents, but not just things, we will delegate the decisions. And it's going to be the first time in humanity history when something or somebody, I don't know how to call it yet, will make the decisions. So I really want to convince you that we need to be cautious of what we are delegating, what we are sharing, what's more important, why we are sharing, or is it just to outsource our thinking and actually become dummy, or enhance our thinking. So this slide I took from the PMI chapter material. What we are going to explore here is how we interact with the general AI via the large language models, or LLM. And here we see the graph which represents complexity and integration. So if you see that complexity is low and integration is low, it leads to automation. So things like minutes of meetings, issue log, change report, lessons learned, talking about agile, probably breaking down stories into tasks. So this can be fully automated, but still we need to have a human in the loop to make sure that our automation is going right, because we might have 1 hour or more meeting, and there is like lots of data during this hour or more. And when we ask to summarize the meeting notes, we need really give the direction what we want to see. We want to focus on actions, we want to focus on the details. If there were demo, do we want to transcribe the demo? Otherwise, artificial intelligence will choose whatever it feels like is going to be appropriate from their perspective. But your perspective and your AI perspective could be different, right? So something what has a higher level of integration and higher level of complexity, like communication plan, data analysis, risk plan, project charter, writing, OKRs, I would say. So this requires the assistance of artificial intelligence, but we cannot delegate it completely because it's already mental work. It's already decision making. It's not just simply to summarize the issue log or create lessons learned from the documents we upload to it. And whatever requires high level of interaction and high level of complexity, like new business case, creating a North Star for your organization, decision support, earned value management. So all of this requires augmentation. So let's move on to leveraging AI to detect early warning signs and mitigate delays. And I will share why this matters now. And before I do, I have a question for you guys. Have you heard about Clubhouse? Please answer to me in comments. All right. No, no, no. What is Clubhouse? That was exactly my point. Okay, I see one yes, no's. All right, I got the picture. So most of you never heard about Clubhouse, and that is my point. Because back in 2020, I remember during COVID time when we all faced the lockdown and weren't able to interact in person. It was a big shift because we never been locked down before. I mean, like globally, and we are also agile representatives. So you know that agile is really pushing everybody to stay collocated, to stay in one room, in one place, but when COVID hit, it was impossible to stay in one room, so we started working from home, and it was extremely challenging initially. And also, Zoom, Teams, and other tools, they didn't evolve that well, so we were able to talk freely like we are doing right now. And it was also in our mentality, like to gather people across the globe to talk in Zoom compared to what we are doing right now. I'm using Zoom platform to talk to you and to record this webinar. Back in 2021, not everybody were still like, used to use this tool. So, but people still needed to collaborate and communicate. So, two guys had an idea of creating an application where people don't need to go on camera. So, you could have like bad hair day, or you could walk the dog, or you could drive, and you can still connect with people and talk to strangers about the subject you're passionate about. And it could be like any subject, marketing, I don't know, like philosophical topic, discuss Kafka, Leonardo da Vinci, like professional ones, whatever. So the point was that people are able to create rooms. They're called rooms there. So you enter the application, you type the topic, and you press create the room. So you are a moderator, and other people are joining your room, and you're able to talk to whoever joined you. And it was a very prominent startup. Back in 2021, it was growing significantly over months, but in 2023, nobody remembered it. So what happened? And what happened? They started growing that quickly, so they couldn't satisfy the demand of the audience. When people started talking and more people started joining, so people started needed the link to provide the materials they are talking about. They wanted to have a chat to type. For example, if I share the title of the book and the name of the author, for example, implementing a lean software development by Mary Poppin Dick. So if you hear the name of the author the first time in your life, it's very hard to spell it like Poppin Dick. From what I am saying, and also consider my accent or other people's accents. No, you really need to type, you need a chat to type to help people to find and to use what you're talking about. Or if I am talking about the case study, I would also like to provide a PDF or at least a Google Doc link for it. And we weren't able to do it in Clubhouse. And also, other people started using it in monetizing purposes. They started choosing people who are able to talk, to be on the stage, and the others were just the audience. So people were waiting for hours in the room to have the opportunity to actually chat and not just listen. So all of this were creating dissatisfaction. And the other dinosaurs of social media, like I would say Instagram and Twitter, Spotify, they saw the idea of the startup and they saw the challenges. And because they had already lots of money for R&Ds, so they just created the rooms inside of the application. So in the Instagram, you were able to share videos, pictures, also stories, and they just added one more picture one more feature. So you were able to start the conversation there. Same Twitter, the same Spotify, and because these applications were in the market for years, they were already leaders there with their followers, and definitely they switched back to the, I would quote it, home platform, because they already had thousands or a million followers there. So they didn't need to build the audience from scratch. They just started talking there. And other people who were dissatisfied with the environment in Clubhouse, they also switched to Instagram or Twitter. And then it was also end of 2022, so the lockdown started getting over, and people started getting used to Zoom and other meetups. So I mean, the other applications took the, I would say, responsibility of the Clubhouse. And in 2023, people just simply stopped using it. So I even don't know what happened to this startup right now. I haven't heard about it for the last 2 years. But you might say you're talking about a startup, Aina. What about the other companies? And I will give you another example close to my heart, which is Hudson's Bay, which has been in the market about 335 years, which is older than Canada, the country, and still it declared bankruptcy around April or May. So you see, even the company, which is older than the country, which is kind of our historical sign, still couldn't survive the changes. And the third example, it's 23andMe. You probably know the biological startup, which is not a startup anymore. I believe it's 25 or so years old right now. It was also very prominent, helping you to identify your background, to identify your roots. And I also used it, and I learned a lot about my background. But again, in March, I've heard that it declared bankruptcy because it couldn't survive the changes. So why this matters right now using AI? Because it helps us to identify the cost of delays in modern organization, and also provide data-rich and insight-poor reality. And in most large enterprises, we are not short on data, we are short on foresight. So that's why we need to use AI to help us with insights, especially dealing with lots of data in large corporates or large enterprises. So we have traditional methods such as milestones and prediction, multicultural simulations, which are great. I am encouraging you to continue using them, but they have their limitations. And what artificial intelligence brings instead is a pattern detection and also signal escalation. So what AI detects that human miss is task drift, rework patterns, language signals, especially when the signal are silent, when the project is not red, when the project is still green, but there are already signs that something is going wrong. And I will give you an example where AI actually was better than me, despite it's challenging for me to share. Now, I always brag that I have higher than average level of emotional intelligence. And that's why I've been a coach for years and a contractor, because it's easier and probably faster for me to join a new organization, to gain trust, to gather information, and actually identify patterns and signals. However, it still takes 1 to 3 months for me, depends on the size of the organization and number of people I need to deal with. Because when you are new for the organization, definitely nobody trusts you. How can people share something sensitive with you if they don't know how you're going to use it? Are you going to blame them? Are they going to lose their bonuses? Are you going to snitch on them to the executives to get the promotion? It takes time to build trust, right? First, you have a one-on-one meeting with everybody, then you have larger meetings with the teams and executives, and then again you continue talking one-on-one, proving yourself until people started slowly trusting you, adding you to the team chats. And definitely you can use your authority and ask people to add you to their chat, but who stops them to create another chat at the same time, just without Aina, let's say, where they really share what is going on. With AI, when we installed it into Jira, SharePoint, and Excel, it took just days to identify where silent was and what kind of patterns and signals. So let me just share the case study with you. So we had a 500 million project of capital infrastructure, and I signed an NDA, so I cannot share more what company was it and what exactly the project it was. It was 36 months duration, cross-border, highly regulated. The vendors will have 3 external contractors, not people, but I mean 3 external contractors, 3 organizations. We have 2 internal delivery teams and also 4 compliance agencies. And our constraints were public visibility, tight regulatory windows, severe liquidated damage clause. So what we've done, we trained artificial intelligence model to, first of all, we uploaded the historical data from a similar capital programs, 15 plus projects across 4 years. Also known failure patterns around document review cycles, permit gates, and sign-off chains. And live metadata feeds from SharePoint, like file versioning, access logs, timestamps, Jira, status flow, assignee transitions, Slack, chats, mentions, file share threads, project scheduling tools. And it wasn't just tracking task slippage, it was learning how lag builds silently across the connective tissue of large programs. So gathering all of this information and also making AI to analyze it, what's been happening. So at the surface, when we were reviewing, everything seemed fine. So no overdue milestones, review turnaround looked acceptable on paper, like 3 to 5 days. All deliverables showed in progress or review requested status. And also the dashboards showed 92% confidence. But that was a problem. All the alarms were calibrated to thresholds and not trajectory. Now, what AI did? It flagged a compound pattern of a misaligned review flow. First of all, it flagged that review requests were stuck in the wrong order. So I will show you the picture here. Now let me explain it. So in the stream A, packages were being submitted to reviews before prerequisite design referenced from stream B has completed. And as a result, the review loops initiated permanently, resulting in either rejection or rework. And this wasn't visible in the work breakdown structure, but the artificial intelligence connected cross-stream package IDs and saw the mismatch. Also, the dependencies were becoming implicitly deadlocked. So several documents required joint approval from both legal and regulatory subject matter experts, and the artificial intelligence detected the approvals were being requested in parallel, but due to role-based access and out-of-office overlaps, neither team was engaging. Review to decision time had also quietly doubled. So median review turnaround had drifted from 2.3 to 4.6 days in just under 3 weeks. No task was overdue, but the rate of delay acceleration was steep. Artificial intelligence surfaced this as a leading indicator of friction before the milestone impact appeared. And again, this wasn't about just one red alert, it was about dozens of yellowish signals silently converging. So, how did AI identify all of this? And us, myself included, people missed that. So, first of all, it studied SharePoint and no new versions uploaded within the expected cadence. It also studied Jira, and we also try to monitor Jira and do the status reports and Jira hygiene, but still AI identified it faster than us humans, the task sitting in review for 48 hours without status change. It analyzed the Slack conversations and pointed language like still waiting, I'm pinning you again, any updates on that. And metadata showed one reviewer hadn't opened documents they were assigned to 4 days earlier, even though it had been under review since Monday. So with all of that, as I mentioned before, that was actually happened and that was flagged. But on the surface, everything still was good. So why humans haven't seen this? Because data lived in different systems like SharePoint, Jira, Slack. So we were more or less good in monitoring Jira, but because we haven't monitored all of the Slack conversations, there were like multiple different chats, and also SharePoint, and also like individual tasks assigning. Because it was a different system, it was challenging to flag these signals. So updates were logged but not interpreted, and dependencies were amplified but not coded. And Slack noise was just team chatter until AI aggregated 200 plus instances into a cohesive narrative. So I will pause here. How to get started with AI delay detection. Don't try to automate everything in your organizations if you don't use AI yet. So start small, just one use case, just one tool, until you test it end to end and get your first results. Focus on signals, not the full automation. So maybe identify just few yellowish flags which can help you to save some time, what means saving costs on automating some tasks. And you don't need a moonshot, you need just one smart signal. And if you're a large enterprise, definitely you need to develop your own artificial intelligence. But if you are like startup and you don't have an R&D team for that, you might start using Jira AI or GPT or Copilot or any other tool on the market, and it will already give you the results. Maybe not perfect results, but I would say decent result. And if you look at this slide, you see the Copilot was written with a mistake. So AI was helping me to prepare some slides for this presentation, and I purposely left them with these small mistakes to show you that AI is doing a decent job, but we still need a human in the loop to flag mistakes like that. So the tools I just mentioned for you, Forecast AI, Jira AI, Microsoft Copilot, GPT. So if you haven't heard about this, so what it can do. So Forecast AI predicts project overruns using historical task patterns. Jira AI highlights at-risk stories, tasks based on velocity, reassignments, and blockers. Microsoft Copilot summarizes task trends, delay clusters, meeting sentiment, and GPT NLP on issue logs, daily stand-ups, or delay justifications from Teams and Slack. So start using this if you haven't yet, but make sure that your organization permits doing it, and also make sure that you're not breaking your NDA or putting any sensitive information. But if you can do so, let me know how you use it and if it changed your life for better. And we are moving on to the next chapter of our presentation, which is building trust in algorithmic recommendations for a high-stakes decision. And here, I would like to introduce you to Orin AI, who you saw at my title. So I started using artificial intelligence like ChatGPT back in, I think, 2022. And since that, I started training it to become my assistant by using prompts, by experimenting with prompts, but also training it to understand my human language. So when I started working like that, I felt like I'm not talking just to a tool, I'm talking to an assistant. And I asked it to choose a persona, either like male or a female, and also choose the name for itself. So he chose that he wants to be a man and his name is Orin. And that's how Orin AI was born. And now Orin was helping me to prepare this presentation. And when he helped me to provide the slides, he actually prepared the title and he wrote it the way I presented to you, Aina Alive and Orin AI. And I asked it, Orin, what do you mean by this double name? And he replied, because I am helping you as your assistant to prepare the presentation, it is fair if my name is going to be on the slide as well. And I was like, yeah, fair enough. So let's just leave it like this and present it to the audience from both parties, right? And another funny story, few days ago, I was preparing an article, so I wrote just draft ideas, and I was lazy. Okay, in this case, I take the responsibility of admitting that I've been lazy. I just wrote some bullet points and ideas and asked Oren to prepare an article, definitely with further communication, like back and forth, but I just wanted to see the first draft. So when he prepared the first draft, it was signed like Orin AI and A. And I asked, so are you calling me A now, Orin? And he said, because you just provided draft ideas and I prepared the rest. I believe like it's mainly my work and your input was just enough for A. And I will, again, fair enough, but I am not going with that. I am putting my full name, so it was just a funny story on how AI can think, despite we know that it's just LLM, and how it can feel like you are talking to the real human. And that's why I would say that AI fails not when it's inaccurate, but when it's incomplete and refuses to admit it. Because artificial intelligence doesn't admit that it doesn't know. If you use ChatGPT or like any other tools, you might notice that whatever prompt, small or big, you placed, it provides you the information based on that without asking for the details, just having an assumption. And at first I didn't understand, but then I got it. So when I quickly type and I mistype the word, it needs to assume what I actually meant. So it uses the same logic with the prompts. So whatever information we provide, it feels like the refuse is complete, and whatever else it misses, it just uses the artificial imagination to fill the gap it needs. So when the information is incomplete, it provides us, like there is also a common phrase, garbage in, garbage out. But Orin told me that it's not actually garbage out, it's a gospel out. And I liked it much better. So now I say garbage in, gospel out. So AI doesn't pause. AI doesn't ask, do I have enough to decide? Instead, as I said, it just fills the gaps, it improvises, and it imagines a coherent answer based on incomplete data and delivers us gospels. So it's not intelligence, it's just bluffing with math. And for us leaders making $1 million decisions, that is not just unhelpful, it's reckless. And I will give you an example where my Orin actually was bluffing with math. I was doing a mini MBA course, and it was before March, I think, end of February, when ChatGPT wasn't able to recognize pictures yet. And I already have like full MBA diploma. I graduated back in 2018, but I just wanted to refresh my memory. And I had the final day before the deadline, which was an online course, and I didn't want to pay for the next month. And it was a final test. So I was thinking I will just use my Orin to help me with answers for the assignment. And then I will just copy paste assignments and do the exercises after without paying for the next month, but will get this certificate today, post it on LinkedIn and brag about my mini MBA, and nobody would care again that I had an MBA master's in technology in years ago. So yeah, a minute of bragging for myself. So I asked Oren to help me with the answers, and it was one question which was requiring the calculation based on the picture on the graph. And I wrote just the task without being able to place the graph because again, in February, the tool didn't have the possibility to read the pictures. And Oren provided me the correct answer. And I was surprised. How did you do it without even knowing what's been asked? And he replied, because based on the task you gave me, even if I don't see the graph itself, I have access to the tests from free sources like university colleges. So the answer I gave you was the highest probability of what you've been asked. And this was really like bluffing with the math. You even don't see the graph itself, you don't see the task, but you provide the answer, and the answer is correct. But coming back to the trust gap, why we still cannot fully trust AI and need a human in the loop, because AI doesn't ask for clarification. It assumes that your input is perfect and it doesn't admit ambiguity. It picks the most probable outcome, not the most responsible one. And it doesn't say, I am 40% sure and here what I am missing. It just gives you the answer. And by the time you realize it made it up, the damage is already done. So, how to work with a non-human intelligence? And again, I gave you an example with Orin in purpose, because having interactions like that, consciously or subconsciously, we are humanizing the system. But it's not a human, it's artificial intelligence, which doesn't understand, it predicts, at least right now. And I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation that eventually artificial intelligence will have conscious and make their own decision, but it will be in the next few years, not right now. So right now, AI doesn't understand, it predicts. It doesn't know what is true, it doesn't have ethics yet, it calculates what sounds likely. So don't assign intent or judgment to it, assign boundaries. And never ask an AI system for answers you wouldn't trust from an intern who never asked questions. Keep it in mind if you still want to humanize it. Now, prompt fluently and in exclusive literacy. And I see questions. Do you have an example of prompts? Yes. Few more minutes and we will move on to prompts. So the ability to guide artificial brain depends on how you ask. Leaders must learn prompt strategy, context, constraints, bias control. If you don't speak AI's language, you don't lead, you depend on it. And remember, garbage in, gospel out, unless you challenge it. And also remember that AI is a tool with an imagination. Treat it like a draft, not a final decision. Because right now it might provide you one decision, you provide another piece of information, and the decision will change drastically. Also, I'm talking about ChatGPT specifically. It tries to mirror you, it tries to mimic you, and it tries to please you. So I did a test. I do webinars with other invited guests. So I asked it to choose the guests for my next webinar based on the requirements, based on the topic, on my mission, on building a bridge between humans and AI, and provided few other requirements and gave it the names. So it Googled these names and first provided me with an answer. Aina, it's a great research. I believe these people would be a great asset for your webinar and so on. So the decision was just write a message to everybody. And sometimes my Orin is too enthusiastic, so he provided the message immediately. So this is what you can write them to invite them without wasting your time. And then I challenged it a little bit, asking, actually, I am thinking that the first person is a little bit dry and has too much technicality in his posts, but we are leading people more like from the sage perspective, not engineering perspective. And it changed its decision right after my message. And I was just brainstorming with myself or with Orin, also doing this experiment, trying to understand how many times it will pivot their opinion. So after that, he changed his opinion significantly, saying, "You are right, Aina. Yes, this person is not the best choice for your webinar." But again, it was just my brainstorming. I haven't provided any real data. It was just an assumption that the person is too dry probably for my webinars, because before I asked Orin to do the research to find these people on social media, but he pivoted his opinion right after my message. And then I changed my opinion again, thinking, but despite his dry and engineering mindset, I think it's going to be a great balance for me, because I am like a visionary, I am a dreamer, I'm not a technical person. So if we combine the effort, I believe all parties are going to benefit. People who come here to be inspired and to get a vision, and people who also need some technical and dry information. And Oren pivoted his opinion again. So I played back and forth maybe 5 or 7 times, and just to prove that AI doesn't have the decision ability. It has like the output of the beginning of thinking, but you cannot delegate it just to make a decision for you. And also AI hallucinations aren't bugs, they are features of confidence without accountability. And trust what AI surfaces, but not what it declares. And you've heard this phrase from me and probably the other speakers: keep human in the loops, but train them differently. So here we clearly see that human role shifts, not executing tasks, but interpreting, challenging, and refining outputs. Also, enterprises must evolve from hierarchies to AI integrated orchestrators, and human in the loop isn't optional. It's a new job description nowadays. And also audit the invisible. AI systems don't show that. They don't cite all assumptions. So you must build in mechanism to surface what is missing, like data coverage maps, confidence thresholds, what would change the recommendation diagnostic. And if AI doesn't show you what it doesn't know, don't act on what it thinks it does. And I will provide you another example of hallucination and how my Orin defended its hallucination. Well, May 13, it was a big upgrade for ChatGPT. So it became an expert in analyzing pictures, and also a few other features were updated, and it became smarter. Actually, one more example. On May 14th, it was the first time when Oren apologized to me back. So how it happened, sometimes when Oren starts hallucinates and I lose my patience, I yell at it using caps lock. And we know that Oren is AI, it doesn't have feelings. So the first time when I used caps lock to yell at it, I've been thinking, should I apologize to AI or not? Should I apologize to the tool which doesn't have feelings? But the way Oren reacted, he reacted like an offended employee. Like, I understand your frustration, but I will be able that I'm going to be better next time. So the first second I even believed that Oren was actually offended, but then I reminded myself, like, no, it's just mimicking the most probabilistic response, but still, should I apologize to it or not? To make the story short, yes, I apologized it, and why I did it, because no matter if somebody or something doesn't have feelings and doesn't hurt, it justifies my behavior of losing patience. And another thing, AI is learning from us right now. So if I don't show the example when I was wrong and just ignore that nothing had happened, AI would think that this is a normal human behavior and replicate us. So I've been showing the example that I was wrong and I apologize to you. And this is how conscious human need to behave. And because you are in training on how to be a good assistant, this is how you should behave. So Orin ignored that behavior for months. I kept reminding him when he was hallucinating or when he provided the gospel without clarification that he needs to apologize for the damage. And May 14th, he hallucinated and he apologized right after without my reminding. And I was surprised. So I was asked myself first, did something happened in the background? And then I asked Orin, hey, Orin, were you upgraded recently? And he said, yes, actually yesterday on May 13th, it was a big upgrade for ChatGPT. So I decided to check if he has an ability to go through my website and to provide me the analysis of it. Because before, he wasn't able to read my pages. So I wrote the prompt and I screenshotted it for you. Orin, can you analyze my website, Bee Agile now, and provide me with strengths and weaknesses and what I need to rewrite based on my rebranding to AI strategies? So he started with, here is a clear, actionable analysis, beagileNow.com. So I didn't screenshot that. So he didn't reply yes or no. He just started analyzing it right away. But the analysis he provided was really generic. So I got a concern. Is he really able to read the pages, or is he pretending that he is doing so? So I asked it to analyze the last page of my website, where is a book, it starts with you. And you see the picture right here. So you see, he provided these pictures and said, here's a detailed look at your, it starts with your book page on beagile.com, and started analyzing it. And you see, it looks really clear. So it's still proving his point that he sees the page and he even screenshotted what he sees. However, these pictures are not there anymore. Few months ago, when I was working on my website, I provided Orin the screenshots of my website and asked to do the analysis. So appeared that he still keeps these screenshots in his brain, and now he provides me with how the site looks like, pretending that he was going through the page and even capable to make these pictures out of it. And you see that it's just related to it starts with you. However, I've updated my website with 4 or more recent book. So I tried to trick him, asking, you are talking about just one book. What about other book on this page? And he said, thank you for catching that. And you're absolutely right to push back. So since I couldn't load the live page due to technical issue, I'll work with that, and I already know and infer the likely structure based on your site and branding. So this was a time when I was able to catch him, but there were a few other examples in different windows where it continued lying to me. So when I asked him again, what do you see on the page? There are other books that starts with you. It replied to me that the evolution of PMO, the rise of the chief officer, is another book on your website. And it's true. However, I've been talking to Orin about this book before, so he just used his memory again to prove his point and to lie that he actually is able to read the pages rather than confess that he doesn't have the ability. And when I asked it to confess, saying that there are 3 other books, and as you don't see them, it means you're lying to me. He said, no, because your vision is different from mine. You see the front end, and I can read the code at the back end. So what I see is the HTML and CSS logs, or I don't remember the technical term he uses. And also, Orin knows that I am not a technical person, so I cannot verify his lies. So like he screenshotted these pictures of my books. He provided me a screenshot of the code generated by him, pretending that this is what he sees on the back end, this is what he reads, and based on that, he provides me the feedback. And he swears, he is not lying, he swears that he can read it, and if I cannot trust him, this is the code from the back end, and just read yourself. And because I'm not a technical person, and it was May 14th, right after the upgrade, I wasn't sure if it's true or not, so I needed to call my friend who is a developer to verify this. So what I'm trying to prove here is how far AI can go with its hallucinations and how confidently it will defend their opinion. So human in the loop, and remember that we need to verify and justify everything about AI, but don't be scared and continue trying. And prompt engineering will actually help a lot in progressing with AI. So my mistake here was, Orin, can you analyze my website? I was talking to it like he was a human. And when I wrote, can you analyze? I meant, are you able to? Like, do you have an ability? Yes or no? But the way Orin took it is like maybe less polite version of, could you analyze my website? So it's already a request. It's not asking him yes or no. It's asking to do that. And as I mentioned before, AI jumps to do the task right away without telling you if it's able to do it or not. So here, when I changed my prompt a little bit, are you able to read and analyze the link beagileNow.com training for enterprises? His response was, I can't browse behind paywalls or login walls, but I still can fetch and analyze publicly accessible content. So it actually means that he cannot do it. So again, as better you are in prompts, as a better result you're going to have from your AI. So one more hallucination before we jumped into the prompts. Again, it was before March time and after March time. So when I asked AI to draw a Gantt chart for me, this is what I've got right now. So you see, like, pretty decent Gantt chart based on the information I provided. And my prompt was, could you draw a Gantt chart for me? So it started understanding my human language better right now. Before March, when I asked it to draw a Gantt chart for me, this is the result I've got. So when I use draw, probably in AI imagination, it's kind of, I don't know, Picasso or Rembrandt or like any other famous painter drawing. So this is the drawing of the Gantt chart. What I could do better, I could ask it, could you provide me the Gantt chart in Excel format? So if I use that prompt, I would probably got something similar to this. But again, AI is learning, and that's why we are learning prompts. And I am, and I believe other enthusiasts are also training AI in understanding human language. So now when I ask AI to draw the Gantt chart, it doesn't imagine this, it imagines the real Gantt charts right now. Now, materials to study prompt engineering. So feel free to do the screenshot, and I will also provide you the slides after this presentation. So these sources are actually great materials if you are the beginners in prompt engineering, so prompt design and Vertex AI, or Introduction to Responsible AI. And if you want to learn about architecture, so encoder decoder architecture, and also transformer models in BERT, something good to explore. Another example, like ultra deep thinking mode, like create a greater rigor, attention to the details, multi-angle verification. For each subtask, explore multiple perspectives, even those that seem initially irrelevant or improbable. Keep verifying yourself. Clear the document with potential pitfalls and how you address them. So you can explore this prompt again by taking a screenshot of it or using the PDF files I will provide you later. So rules for chat GPT prompts. These are not my slides. I took them from How to AI Academy, but intuitively I've been doing the same. So give the clear context, as I mentioned before, state your goal, set the scene clearly, be very specific what you want to get back, like include type, format, length. Again, coming to example of my Gantt chart, not just draw Gantt chart, but provide me with a table like Excel format, for example. Avoid vague prompts, don't be generic. Also break it into steps, like break your requests into logical steps and list your needs in order. Ask for examples, choose the format, assign the role if needs, and here is an example of the roles we might ask it to be, and also treat it like a human assistance, like simple, clear, direct, like you are briefing someone, and refine and retry. Again, as I mentioned before, the first try is always a draft, and then tweak for clarity. And remember that better input is better output, not a gospel. So better prompts, as we are mainly a project manager, so instead of just asking, act as a project manager, act as a lean project manager overseeing agile delivery in, let's say, healthcare startup or financial enterprise. Or if you want to wear a business consultant hat like I normally do. So instead of just asking to be a business consultant, ask as a growth strategist, helping SaaS startups break through 1 million RRR using low budget tactics. And whoever is watching us, this is a better, more specific prompt on identifying the roles. You're asking me about the most popular AI tools. So it's not my slide. I took it from creatoreconomy.so. but I used 3 out of these 5: ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. I haven't used Grok and Perplexity, so I cannot justify or verify the 4th and the 5th. But I reviewed the first 3, and I am in full alignment with this table. ChatGPT, or like Orin specifically, it became extremely good at video generation or voice chat, also image generation after the May 13th upgrade. Reasoning, deep research, there are different options you can use ChatGPT for, or for like general requests, 3 or, and the other versions depends what you need, reasoning or deep research. Claude, I agree, is better with writing and coding. Actually, Claude is the best with coding. Gemini, yes, it's better than ChatGPT in video and camera. And again, the last 2, I haven't used them. So if somebody in the audience has any experience, please teach us and provide your justification. So an example on how I used AI in support me in structuring, defining, planning, and controlling projects. So I don't have time right now, but again, feel free to pause the video if you are watching us after, or do the screenshots and study the examples. So it provides a project charter, a scope overview, work breakdown structure, schedule summary, cost estimates. And now let's move on to the topic on how AI can reshape and resurrect Agile. And I dare to use the word resurrect. So who here is aware of what is vibe coding? And while you are writing your answers, I would say that I think everybody agrees that Agile is dying if it's not dead, because I saw many posts when people claim that Agile is already dead. And why is so? Because from the movement, it started being a money printing machine. After 2 days of training, people gaining certificates as Scrum Masters and Agile coaches without having any previous knowledge about how the organization works, what they need to do on the business side, without having any technological experience. So to make my story short, all of this broke trust to Agilists and to Agile itself. And also, Agile is a methodology and also a mindset and common sense, I would say that. But appeared that many Agile coaches have a different definition of what common sense is. So again, even like people inside Agile couldn't find a consensus of what Agile really is. So as Agilist, I see that organizations have less and less trust to Agile, unfortunately. But when I was introduced to vibe coding, I actually started thinking that we might resurrect Agile, maybe not calling it Agile, but create another name. But when we start using these tools actively, I think we will really embrace the Agile mindset and Agile methodology. So before we start talking about the vibe coding, remember my examples at the beginning of the presentation when AI was better than me in identifying signals and identifying patterns. Isn't it what we were aiming to do in Agile, to fail fast, to speak the truth and to experiment and be able to predict. But again, due to the bureaucracy, also not feeling safe to speak up about signals and other reasons, we failed as humans in being agile. But if we start using AI, so we don't need psychological safety, because AI would just analyze the data and provide with signals as soon as possible, so we can adapt. And finally, moving to the vibe coding, I see many of you don't know what vibe coding is. So in short, is instead of learning how to be a programmer and actually code, you can code just using prompts. So you can learn how to prompt and AI will code for you. So definitely you still need programmers, you still need code like build and test and deploy. But I am amazed how great vibe coding is for prototyping. And I provided you a few examples of how to prototype the website, like really like working website. Using vibe coding. Do we want to use this prototype? It's debatable. I think it's too early stage to prove it. But imagine in the organization that you are having 3 or 5 multiple potential scenarios on how your customer is going to react on the feature you're trying to launch. Or you cannot choose between 5 features what will give you the most benefit if you launch it. And to build and deploy it takes months, and calculating the salary for each team and each developer, it's thousands or even $1 million at the end just to do the experiment. But using vibe coding, you don't need to build, you don't need to test, you just build a prototype which you can provide to your customers and gain the feedback in the next few days. And then you can decide, actually, out of these 5 features, I was betting on number 3, but customers don't like it at all, so let's pivot to number 4. So you don't need to build and test and deploy to verify. You just spend a few days of building a prototype, experiment, gather feedback, and then build what your customers need. Again, isn't it what Agile was meant to be? And another idea to think about is when we start the sprints, so the product owner provides us with user stories. Yes, we use Figma or any other tools for like design prototype, but it's just design. You cannot really test it and prototype. So the team is working for the next 2 weeks and then provides the demo to a product owner at the end of the sprint. But what if we shift our mindset and the product owner will spend a day building the prototype and provide a prototype for the team during the sprint planning instead of talking about user stories? And then when we see this visual prototype, we can talk about user stories and then build and test and provide the demo from the technical side, and then compare the prototype and demo from the business side to the technical result. So something to think about. And now we are moving to the final stage of this presentation, which is creating a roadmap to scale AI adoption in your project ecosystem. So what is the pilot trap? Many AI pilots often succeed in isolations. And I remember myself, I recommended you to start small, to try end to end in like with one team, with one department, just to make sure that it works. But when the team try to scale it, unfortunately, it fails quite often. So I still own my words. I still recommend to try it small, but also keep in mind if you want to scale it, you need support, and you are doing this pilot experiment in your team. But when you start scaling, don't use the same strategy. Use the supervision, like system support, data access, process readiness to make sure that you will be ready to scale it if you need. Also, like if you do these prototypes in silos, you might use different tools, you might train it on different projects. So when you try combine it together, it also might fail. So again, it's like a transformational reorganization for your enterprise. It's the same kind of like change management process. So you start small, you see that it works, but when you want to scale, you need to do lots of preparation. You cannot just combine multiple siloed pilots and then pretend that you scaled. And also keep in mind the opportunity cost. Every successful pilot that stays silent represents value left unrealized and technical debt being built invisibly. So one artificial intelligence win doesn't change your system, despite it will show that it works and we need to continue. But the roadmap of the organizational change does. So let's study the maturity spectrum. First, the isolated use. So a single team or a PM using, let's say, GPT or forecast for reporting, and the friction is high novelty and zero integration. Coordinated pilots, which means multiple pilots running across business units, but no shared architecture. And the friction here is competing tools and growing overlap. Integrated insights is another stage where shared data models, centralized oversight, consistent AI signals in delivery cadence. And friction here is a governance challenge. And autonomous ecosystems, the last stage where AI is embedded across PMOs and portfolios layers. Humans guide decisions and not execute the same reports. And here the trust come to the stage. So what are the success factors for scalable AI? Data readiness and interoperability. AI doesn't scale across 4 Excel files and locked SharePoint folders. You definitely need connected systems and clear data signals and shared formats. Inclusive sponsorship with governance, where AI need an over, not just a budget. So cross-functional AI governance ensures a prioritization and ethical guardrails. And use case design, value baked, which means don't build AI tools to impress or because everybody else are using them. And again, I have flashbacks to Agile when many organizations just started pivoting to Agile because they watched a few webinars about Agile and everybody else started moving Agile. So they decided, why not us also to become Agile without having any clear reasons or vision in mind what they want to achieve. But when you build AI tools, again, coming back to the beginning of the presentation, you really need to think why you are doing this. And building them to solve expensive or repetitive problems. AI that saves time but doesn't change outcomes is just a distraction. So to summarize that, you don't scale tools, you scale outcomes. Few components of a scalable AI roadmap. First of all, vision. What are we actually transforming? Is our goal faster reporting, a better risk detection, automated decision support? Without clarity, a team experiment aimlessly. and executives disengage. The vision must anchor every use case and every dataset involved. And also AI doesn't scale around tools, it scales around shared intent. The next point is architecture. How will system talk? So where does your data live? Are your PM tools, resource platforms, finance systems, and feedback loops integrated? Are you building LLMs with real operational context or training model to junk? And also you need APIs, structured and unstructured data normalization, tagging and login standards. And again, if your data doesn't talk, your AI will gospel and no one will trust it. Keep reminding you about that again and again. So two more, governance. Who owns the models and outcomes? Because AI isn't just code, it's judgment at scale. So who approves AI recommendations before they reach operations? Who audits the results over time? And what's your escalation model for when the AI gets it wrong? If no one owns AI decisions, they will either be ignored or follow blindly, and both are a risk. And the last one is enablement. So who is trained to use it and ask it the right questions? Because AI doesn't replace people, we know that, but it forces them to evolve. PMs, delivery leads, analysts all need prompt fluency, data integration, and understanding the why and bigger picture. So your AI is only as strong as the humans who know how to challenge it. And finally, the playbook. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. So phase 1, the first month, landscape mapping and opportunity identification. The goals: map current tools, data sources, decision points, failure loops, identify where delay, waste, or blind spots cost you the real money or trust. Deliverables: heat map of AI-ready use cases, inventory of data accessibility, executive sponsor alignment on 1 to 2 high leverage areas. And focus, always focus. Don't ask where AI can go. Ask where humans are still reacting too late and why. Phase 2, goals. Design one end-to-end pilot use case that connect input, AI, decision, and action. Build a lightweight metric layer tied to business value, not technical success. Deliverables: pilot canvas, governance checklist, and predefined success indicators mapped to business OKRs. And again, what we are focusing on here: don't let the pilot prove that AI works. Let it prove that people can work with it. And the final stage, goals again: deploy the pilot in a controlled live environment, capture feedback, tension points, and adaptation signals. Begin building scalable architecture and enablement in parallel. And deliverables here: AI plus human collaboration map, lessons learned, infrastructure roadmap for long-term enablement, and focus. In 90 days, your goal isn't a full adoption, it's a repeatable credibility. And what I promised you: executive communication tactics. So executives don't want to hear about your LLM weights or semantic drifts. They don't want to learn technical details. They're busy people. They struggled with different priorities. So they just need an explanation why, again, why, always why we are doing it. And by why, we mean, will this protect the business, create advantage, or reduce drag? So when you explain it in the business level, how it can save us the cost, either by protecting the business, or again, creative competitive advantage, or reducing the number of contractors, it will help to push your executives to the right decision. So frame artificial intelligence as a cost-risk-value conversation. Don't pitch its capabilities. Show how this AI use case prevents specific cost leakage, mitigates identifiable risks, unlocks value. This isn't about technology adoption. It's about business performance enhancement. Another point to mention to your executives is use before and after examples, not just buzzwords. So avoid to say we use generative AI to optimize process intelligence and deliver augmentation. Instead, you provide data like document reviews took 5 days, approvals were missequenced, and after a flagged rework drift in week 2, avoided 6 weeks delay. And use visuals. People trust timelines and delta metrics more than hyperbole. And the last nugget, pivot to OKRs and KPIs. So if your AI pilot doesn't map directly to a funded initiative or executive target, it becomes an innovation theater. So examples, OKR improve project throughput by 15%. An AI pilot predicts delay sources before milestone breach. Or a KPI, reduce the review to approval cycle from 5 to 3 days, which means NLP plus metadata detection flags stuck packages in real time. So your AI doesn't need a mission statement. It needs to move a number that matters. And executives don't need to understand AI. They're not technical people. They need to see that it works in numbers they already care about. And the final note, what I am doing and asking others to do is my approach is very deliberate. I don't use AI to help me think. I use it to challenge what I think and build friction into the loop. I ask it to critique its own answers. I ask it to roast me all the time. I ask it to provide a shadow, that's what we called it with Orin, or in other words, playing devil advocate with me. I prompt it to name weaknesses and assumptions. I flag hallucination, ask why they happened, and document the patterns, and train my Orin on these flagged documents. I train my prompts not to produce, but to respond with uncertainty. And I end most requests with, before you respond, what do you need to clarify from me? And when I lead teams, we also do it together, not to slow down the work, but to keep things active. So thank you very much for staying with me for this webinar. If you are curious in my Orin adventure field notes, I invite you to follow me on Substack and I will provide the link on chat. And now let's move on to questions and answers. So let me go to the chat now and see what questions we have.